Hello everyone, I am Master Brain.
And I'm Silly Squirrel.
And we are ReviveMeBroGames, a gaming podcast where two best friends discuss cooperative games, multiplayer games, and so much more. We're available anywhere where you can get your podcasts. So if you listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star review. Make sure to check out our YouTube page as well with our latest streams, of course, as well as our Twitch, and check out all of the pods. Anyway, Silly Squirrel, how you doing today, my friend?
Man, that was a spot on PSA straight out the gate, bro.
Yo, one shot, sniper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. You forget like getting warmed up. It's like, nah, go subscribe. Está bueno. Subscribe. I'm doing pretty good, brother. How are you?
Yo, can't complain too much. Just been busy. But hey, that's life, right? Keeps coming at you.
Yeah, no, it's been really hard to record the podcast lately, just because of life, really. So I'm really glad that we got together to do this very special pod.
Yeah, very special indeed, because I guess what you say, the theme of the overall message of today's message, the overall, basically we're talking about today, you guys, everybody, is we're old. Silly Squirrel and I are old, and somehow we've been friends for 20 years, like this month, which is wild. It marks a lot of different things, but 20 years, man.
Yeah, man. One more year and our friendship can buy drinks.
It can buy drinks. It can already do it in Nicaragua.
I know.
Nicaragua.
Man, that was a while ago when it can do that.
Oh, my God. It's true. A while ago. Oh, my God. As soon as it got a little bit of hair, you can buy drinks.
I know. It's like, I can get drinks, right? Hell yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, 2 decades. I can't believe it. Time flies, but still, it's like there's a lot of history, a lot that's happened in those 20 years, from like technology changing to like, obviously society changing, to like wars and things like that. Oh my gosh, right? Like, we're textbooks now. Like, part of our history is literally in a textbook now. I feel like
we can legit start saying back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah, and we went.
I used to walk to my 7-Eleven, buy Pokemon cards. Wait, that still happens.
Back in my day, I used to go to my 7-Eleven and buy them taco ice creams.
Choco. The Taco Choco.
Choco Waco. That thing was all right. Everyone's
it's pretty fire.
Friend,
it's pretty good.
It's like, oh, my nostalgia is like, bro, it was okay. It wasn't that good. It was a good idea, but come on, are we really gonna miss those soggy, like cones? You know, like the taco made out of like cones. It was all soggy.
Listen,
man.
If you miss it, just get Doja Cat to bring it back. All right, like if you really miss it like that, ask Doja Cat. She'll fight for you.
True story, man. True story.
True story. She got the Mexican pizza back.
Oh my God, dude, that thing is fire.
Yeah.
Is that what the kids say now? Fire.
Well, fire. Well, no, but that's what I say, because that to me is a good depiction of what it all is. But anyways, everybody, we have been playing games for a long time. I kind of want to talk about that just a little bit, and yeah, we old, so we obviously were not like born and playing video games. So we met when we were like, teenagers. So it's been a minute.
Yeah,
but yeah,
and if I may interrupt you real quick, and apologies. It's like we kind of came to the realization that, like we said earlier, that we just turned 20, so to speak. And we kind of just started thinking back about like, where we started, how we kept our friendship going, and then at the fact that we have a podcast and a stream channel. It's dude. Like it kept
working together, bro.
yeah. It's just like it was one of those things where it's like I think back and I'm like, I can't believe it. Like we're still not only doing what we love, because I mean obviously you and I love video games. But it's like
Yeah, of course.
it's helped us not only establish our relationship and further develop the relationship, but it's also helped us to bring other people and make those relationships better. So like, a good example is like Johnny Boy, Sapito, Luis, of course, Eugene, and like anyone who's joined us during the streams. Like it's been pretty dope. And I mean, not so. What was it, like less than a month ago? We all met for the third time. In
Yeah,
3
like in
years.
person. Yeah, like in person.
Like the R&B crew finally met in person for the third time, and we just like hung out, and it was like really cool because
pretty legit.
like it's like not that the podcast, like the podcast came after the fact because we met each other first in person, right? But
Right,
it's
right.
like we've grown to be really close friends with all these other people because of basically the streaming and all that. It's been pretty cool. So I think yeah, man, who would have thought like we'd be still doing video game stuff at our age?
Who would have thought, right? I mean, I'm sure a couple people would have figured, but they'd probably roll their eyes at it.
Oh my god. Completely agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how about we just get to it? Like how it started, right? So do you want to start? Do I want to start? How do we do this? How do we do this?
Well, I'll just go ahead and start. But go ahead and start this topic. I guess if like a lot of y'all have listened to some prior podcast or other podcasts or streams or whatever, you might know a little bit more about our history, or just because like we talk about ourselves or whatever. But sure. Yeah, we met like legitimately 20 years ago, almost to the day, almost. Just because that's around the time that my family ended up moving to Nicaragua, and that's where the school was. That's where a bunch of our friends, obviously, because we met a bunch of friends there. But that's that became home for me after me living in Maryland for my entire life, right? Like I was born in Maryland, right? So like I grew up on Pokemon, like. I got into Dragon Ball Z like when it hit Toonami. Like I was super into Toonami and that kind of thing. And let's see, like I loved my Pokemon cards, but then the Yu-Gi-Oh cards were fire to start playing and collecting and actually like fighting with. You know what I'm saying? And like doing stuff with. Let's see. High school was nuts. Everybody was joining on each other. I was really good at making like not high school, but like those like elementary school weapons. Like the paper bullets with like the rubber bands. That was always fun to do back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, a lot changed for me because like I moved from like being in Maryland, being in the U.S. to like Nicaragua, where I didn't really have access to shows in English anymore. Yep. So everything that I was used to was completely different. I was like, okay, I don't know anymore. This is different. I don't know if I can get used to it. It's gonna take a minute, and so. Things like Dragon Ball Z, I stopped watching for a long time. I couldn't watch like
because it was in Spanish.
Because it was in Spanish. I just couldn't get into it. And like I used to actually watch wrestling a lot, but then when I moved down to Nicaragua, I didn't watch it anymore because I just didn't know where to watch it. And then when I could watch it, it was just like I don't know. It was either old or I lost what was happening, and by then I just couldn't keep up anymore. Right? Things were crazy by the time like we moved to our new house down there. But that's where I met Silly Squirrel in that school down there. Silly, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about like what it was like for you as a kid, like what you played and kind of what you were doing.
So kind of to add a little bit of context, I was in my elementary school was mostly in the Nicaraguan school, so it was all in Spanish. It was a very different culture than the like most American schools. And so my parents decided that for high school, they wanted me to go to a English-speaking school. And so the transition was actually very hard because it's not just the language. Language was fine. I actually I speak both languages, fairly well. Yet it was the culture, the difference in culture that was really hard to adjust. And so even though I did make friends in the beginning, like I can think of a few guys, right? Like Sam and these other people. Like everyone was very different. And everyone was very, the one thing we had in common with most of these first group of friends was like we played soccer.
That was
like we were very passionate about it, and that was kind of like the one thing that connected us, which it's great. But there was a lot of things I liked that not a lot of my then friends wouldn't really relate to. So like music and stuff like that. Plus, it was a Christian school, so I'm like, yeah, I like Linkin Park. Ooh, that's the devil,
They're like, excuse us, but we don't listen to that here.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't. It's not as bad as you think. But there were instances where I couldn't really fully share a lot of what I liked, so like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. So by the time Master Rein joins the school, I remember distinctively, like, what was it, like that recess or that lunch? Like you started talking about...
It was, I thought it was PE.
Was it? Okay, tell me your story. Then I'll tell mine.
Because I remember like, talking with you and everybody about kind of like what I was doing in Maryland, kind of who I was or whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember hating running in PE so much because it was so humid. I was so fat and I didn't run that much. And y'all were running a bunch more. And I was just like, I couldn't do it. I was like, and I was asthmatic. So like, I was not used to like the pollen. It's dude, I moved to a completely different part of the world, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to run. I'm just like, yeah. So I remember like struggling, and I guess I remember talking about this so well because it was such a traumatic moment, struggling so much, right? It was like, like meeting a prisoner, like when you're a prisoner of war, right? Like, it's just like you remember them. I guess, I don't know. But I started talking about what I had. I had like Nintendo 64. I had Perfect Dark. And that's when Silly goes, whoa, hold up, like Perfect Dark, or like he was talking about Perfect Dark, but like Perfect Dark was like the moment when there was just like, oh my gosh. And I remember like kind of like struggling, kind of running, but like that was just kind of like, oh snap, we're talking about games. It kind of like, I'm inspired now. I can at least breathe and run a little bit more. But I remember like struggling a lot, like while we were talking about like games, and I remember you being like, oh my gosh, I want to come and play, I want to come and do that, I want to come and try or something like that. And I was like, oh, cool. Somebody could come and play. I was just kind of shy because like, it was just like a hard time in my life. But I was like, hey, this might be kind of cool,
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
No, so I do remember that. But what I do remember is that eventually I asked you again. So I'm like, hey, so you have Perfect Dark? And it's what we were at lunch. And he's like, yeah, man, I have Perfect Dark. I have this game. I have that game. I'm like, dude, you have a Nintendo 64. That's so cool. And then like we just hit it off. And then I think a few days later, we went to your house and we played Perfect Dark. And
yeah, that's awesome.
And you had a GameCube too. So we like, we played like, I think you had Super Smash Brothers and a few other games. So like for me, it was like, wow, finally, like. Because no one else in class was really into video games. There were a few students that, they liked playing video games, but they wouldn't talk about it as much as, like, say, someone like me. And so, like, Master Rein and I just, like, immediately connected that way. And granted, I'll be honest, too, like, when we went running, I was one of the last ones, too. So Master Rein wasn't too far behind. In my case, it wasn't because I was like fat. It was because I actually have like some like lung stuff. But anyway, the point is, it's like I see Master Rein in the back, and I'm kind of running, and I'm just like, bro, I'm dying too, man. So
it's hot, dude.
Yeah,
hot,
man.
humid, muggy.
Sweaty.
Oh my god, the bugs are floating.
Dude. I remember when we did our first. I remember when we did a 2-mile run, where you had to you basically got mad at the coach because you couldn't breathe, and the coach was.
Oh, I think I ended up getting sick that day too.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Yeah, I think you threw up.
It was disgusting.
I think
it
you
was
threw
pink
up
because I had strawberry milk that morning too. It was so gross. I remember that too. It was so gross.
Anyway,
but
so
hey, I warned him.
Yeah, no, and so anyways, we played Perfect Dark. You set up a profile for me, and what we started doing was you already had a kill count. I don't know if you remember that. Like Perfect Dark kept a tab of all the kills you've done on multiplayer, and so you lend it to me. And for a while, all I did was just try to get to your score. And I never really did, but I did get to the point where I was like really, really close. Like I don't remember the exact number, but just to give you a number, like you had like 1,000, let's just say, right? Like 1,000 kills.
Yeah.
I managed to get up to like 600, 700, because all I did, I just wanted to get up there, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to do it. And the other thing too is because like you were so familiar with the game that I wanted to get familiar with the game so that when we both play, we just wreck everyone.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and we played a lot of multiplayer. Like not even the co-op. It was more of a. We played more of the just the bots. Just fighting
the bots. Yeah, that was fun. And they were hard. They were hard.
Yeah, and it was fun, like making them.
There was a bunch of maps too.
Yeah, dude. What was the name of the map? That was it was like all blue, and it had this space where you could. It was a big room, and on your left you had like these pillars, and on your right you had these other pillars, and above the pillars is like another room that you can come from above and jump down.
Oh yeah, and you could put like a bunch of proximity mines and like
the
turrets, the laptop gun, and then like they would. Oh my gosh, that was nuts. Which that actually reminds me a lot of Battlefield 1, that bunker room.
Yeah.
With TK Noms and all them. Yeah, dude.
Oh man, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's kind of how we started. Really, like we just hit it off and started playing games together, and Perfect Dark will always have that like special place in our hearts. It's like the game that started it all for us.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, man, it's so cool. Like that. That we can be connected through like gaming and whatnot. Being able to find like a hobby. It's such a new type of hobby too that like obviously didn't exist before, and so for a lot of parents and a lot of people grown like of the time, like they probably thought of games, and I probably thought of like a board game or something like that. So they're seeing a bunch of kids playing games and like connecting through that. They're probably just like, what?
That's a good point.
I just kind of wonder what it was like for our parents, like seeing that kind of stuff. Because like now, if I see like my daughter, growing up and like, connecting with her friends through gaming, like I'd be like, that's totally normal. Like, her dad's doing it. It's like her dad's connecting with her friends through gaming. Cause like, honestly, like it's kept our friendship like steady, throughout the years. It's gave us like something to do, especially when like we don't live together, like in the same area, like especially like right now.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, but like when we were still like living, like in high school days, you know what I'm saying? Like we had, like, there was a lot of games that thankfully we got to play, even though we didn't have any internet access to play online like that. Cause I didn't have internet to begin with. And yeah, so it was kind of hard, but I remember like going over to your house a lot and like watching you play games like Jedi Outcast, which is always cool because you had modded the crap out of that. Not modded, you had just like the command for like the God mode and stuff for that.
Yeah,
it was just
exactly.
like so cool just to see like a bunch of like just all the colors, the sabers, and all the different like fighting things you can do. I was like, oh my gosh, it was so much fun sometimes to watch. Just like it was like you would just do like what like 3 Sith or like 3 like massive Master Sith or whatever versus you, and just like trying to go crazy. It was cool.
That just reminded me this one time where I beat the game on the hardest difficulty I was using God mode, but I remember showing you this like mini trick where the very last level of the game is at the Jedi Temple, and I found out that if you don't kill the Siths that are there, they'll just follow you until the very until the very end of that level before you fight them, like the main boss. And so like I think I managed to get like 7/8 Siths. And in hard mode, the cool thing is Jedi Outcast is this thing that if you played on easy, normal, or hard, it would change the difficulty of the Siths. So like if you played again easy, like the Siths had like this different color, and they were very easy, to be honest. If you play medium, they had a different color and they had better force powers. And if you do hard, these guys were just a pain in the ass. And so imagine just 7/8 pain in the ass Jedis against me, a god among men. And I'm just bring it on. And yeah, I remember I'm like, dude, check this out. And we're like, oh, you know.
Epicness.
And then eventually you got the game on GameCube. And I remember the password. It was Mr. Bubbles. I think that was the god mode cheat, Mr. Bubbles.
Uh-huh. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's awesome. If anybody's playing Jedi Outcast, there you go.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, no, what we used to do a lot was just like go to each other's houses and just watch each other play games, really. So like, oddly enough, Halo 1 was one of those games where I would go to Master Rein and he had a computer that was good enough to play it. And I'd watch him play. Just good enough. Yep. And I'd watch him play Halo 1 on like, you played that multiple times and I think you beat it at like the hardest difficulty.
Yeah.
And you were like really proud of it.
Yeah. I was listening to Linkin Park doing it. It was so cool.
And then other games like Dead Space, Metroid Prime 3.
Well, Dead Space was later when I had left.
I know, yeah.
But that was actually like not by like a year or two later, maybe though is the thing.
Yeah, because it was during a summer, because you had it on your PC.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's right. Because you came over, we were able to do it. Because like I had to turn the fan on my computer and everything because it was so hot. Oh my god, it was hilarious. Like the actual house, like sitting fan and everything. Oh my god.
Exactly. Yeah.
So hot.
And there was no like air conditioners in any of these houses, so it's like our computers just like melt.
Oh, literally, yeah.
But
yeah,
you know,
I'm
like,
surprised that computers go bad down there so fast.
But yeah, a lot of the games we played were like Phantasy Star Online. I feel like was one of the first games we played together. And that was, I remember that game fondly. More or less because it was the first time I played an RPG of that nature with anyone. And I remember that one boss.
To run it.
Yeah.
That one boss. Yep.
That one boss that it took, like we all died, and well, except you, and you managed to beat the boss with like the minimum of weapons, and it took us like half an hour. Like I just remember it just took forever, and you beat it. And I'm like, holy crap! I gotta find that
because we were. I think it took so long, right, to get there, right?
Yes, and we were like drained by that point. We had like nothing. I gotta remember.
I was like plus ultra. It was a handgun, dude. I had the handgun. That's what it was.
Yep, it was a handgun.
We were. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the one where like you're on a platform and there's like a snake going around you all over the place. It's like in lava or something like that. So you're stuck on this one platform. So like the best thing to do is basically only shoot it with like long range weapons, right? And I was a melee character, but I had a handgun with me, a tiny handgun that I barely leveled up.
Okay, so apparently the name of this boss is called D-Roll or D-Rolly. I found a video and it's exactly that. It's a snake thing and we're in a platform and we had to kill these like enemies that would come into the platform and then we could shoot the boss and it was so annoying.
It was so frustrating, dude. It's so frustrating. So at least when on the platform, like I had it because I was so good, like at least with the melee part. Yeah. But the shooting, oh my god, I couldn't do it. But at least I think I was like a little bit of a higher level than everybody else. So because of that, I didn't die as quickly. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I had like more health packs or something like that, or more health ability or something like that for myself. So I think I was able to just keep myself a little bit longer, like alive a little bit longer. But oh my god, that's one of those boss battles where it was a grind to finish.
Yeah, and then we played a lot of Gauntlet.
Oh my god.
The GameCube Gauntlet. That one was just a few times actually that we played, but like it's still very vivid. And we played it with one of my cousins too, so it was like, I don't know, like we played it like twice really, but it was very vivid that we were all together playing Gauntlet.
But we got strong too. We leveled up max every single time though, because like if you remember, like I had figured out that if you go to like the Spider Queen and you just beat her with like a high level person and low level people, it goes to the highest level. Yeah. And the low level people just literally jump up 20 levels after that first kill. So it only took like a few times, which is where that
it was a cheese. Yeah. It was a Gauntlet Dark Legacy That's the game. Gauntlet Dark Legacy.
Yeah, the one on the GameCube. I love that one. So I remember you want to know how I got that one? Yeah, I'm pretty sure my mom bought it for me, dude.
That's hilarious.
I'm pretty sure my mom just straight up bought it for me, or it was something where like it was my birthday and we just like went to like a Toys R Us or something like that, and she like we walk in and she was like, well, what do you want? Like, you pick a game, and I was like looking around. I'm like, what looks interesting? What looks interesting? What looks interesting? And I'm like, what is this Gauntlet thing? A couple people can play it. My cousins and I can play it. That looks cool. I'll get that one, right? So I got that one. But yeah, even it's funny because even back then I was always thinking about like, well, hey, what kind of like multiplayer game can I get to like, where we can all play, because that's a lot of fun when we can all play something.
Exactly.
Especially when it's like cooperative, something like RPG, or if it's something like I love fighting the bots because we would have to like come up with ideas and stuff like that. When it was fighting each other, it was just kind of like a tournament competitive mode, right? Because it was just like, okay, this is like we gotta show up, what the skills are, right?
Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, we played a lot of these type of games, and these weren't games that really were like, they were different for us because we didn't have a lot of access to, a lot of games. In Nicaragua, it was very hard to get games.
Yeah.
And so like,
let's put a timeline to this, because like we're talking about the Gauntlet time period is actually when Halo 2 is out. Just so everybody's aware. It's like the Halo 2 times when people are actually playing online on Halo 2. We weren't doing that just yet. Some of our friends couldn't, but like if they could, it's because their parents were probably like some sort of drug lord in Central America or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Luis.
Luis. Happy weed.
Happy weed. Yeah, happy weed. But yeah, we played a lot of Gauntlet, a lot of I let me like bring it back. I used to watch you play a lot of Zelda, Wind Waker. And
Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Master Quest.
Exactly, Master Quest. And then there were times where you and I would go and play like Counter-Strike at the local.
Well, you would play Counter-Strike. I was trying to just catch up and keep up with all the Koreans and the Nicaraguans whose parents would drop them off all the time. I was like, oh my God, what is PC gaming? What is mouse aiming? What the
fuck? Yeah, my dad, like, he had a Nintendo when I was like 3-4 years old, but he used to play a lot of Doom. So it was like I was always more of a PC gamer myself.
So cool.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
So, but anyway, yeah. So as the cool thing too is that obviously our friendship developed not just through video games, but like we were both in a soccer team. We both used to play.
Yeah.
We used to play defense together.
Yeah, that was great. I feel like when that was happening, we were a solid wall.
Yeah, we went to the final
won
twice.
It. God damn it.
Yeah, we went to the finals twice.
Yeah, and then I got injured, and yeah. If you remember that, when I got injured.
Was it your knee?
Busted my. Yeah, it wasn't my knee. It was when I landed on Chan's knee and I busted my rib.
Oh yeah, you had a hard time breathing.
Dude, I couldn't catch my breath. I was just like, that was the first time in my life. That's actually when I learned how to catch my breath. Like whenever like it gets like hit out of you, because like if you're like freak out and like try to like you like your heart rate goes up, you get more anxious, and like you might even pass out just from like But like you just kind of like almost have to like just let your breath let yourself hold your breath almost, and it was just like a scary experience because I remember just like gasping and I couldn't get air in, and I was just like, okay, stop, count to 5, and then like take a slow breath, and I got it in, and it was just like so painful. Oh my God, dude. And that was it for the season. That was it. So like anytime I sneezed or laughed or anything, it was just like excruciating pain for like a whole semester.
Damn, bro, I'm sorry. Shit.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. But
damn.
Yeah. But hey, at least I got to like get out of a lot of things when I was like telling my mom, "Ay, mi costilla, mama."
You did.
I was like, "Ay, me duele, mama." Oh.
You did, you little.
You gotta use what you gotta use, man. Hey,
That's true.
You're a Delta card. Use it.
And then after that, I mean, in school, whenever we sat next to each other, either the teachers or someone in class would tell the teacher, these guys can't sit together. You need to separate them right now.
I'm going to take a clip of this and send it to every single one of Dot's teachers from here on out, because this is factual. This is factual ever since I was in kindergarten. Like, whenever I was sitting next to my friend, ever since I was in school, my teacher would always have to move me because it would be like, nope, these two can't sit next to each other. Nope, these two can't sit next to each other. So obviously when I get to Nicaragua, where like we're going to be in the same class, in the same room pretty much now for the next few years, it was wild, bro, because it only got worse and worse and worse and worse.
Oh, yeah.
All right? Because, like, in other schools, if you think about it, like, if you're a kid in the U.S., unless you went to, like, a really small school, you would understand, right? Like, if you went to a small school, you would understand. If you went to a big school where you have, like, 800 kids, right, you might have a graduating class of, like, 100 kids.
Yeah.
Our graduating class was 25, maybe 27, and we were, like, one of the bigger ones at the time, or the biggest at the time.
25, yeah.
And so, that's different, you know? So, no, dude, it was wild when we were all get together, especially like if somehow all the guys were together. It was almost like, let me just be truthful. I would get learning done. I would learn shit. All right. Don't get me wrong. I remember so much of every single one of those classes we were fooling around in, but it was because it was so fucking funny. They all became core memories and accidentally learned all that shit. Right. But yeah, and whenever all the guys from like us and like the class like above and below to get together, it was wild, dude.
Oh my god, yes. It was crazy.
Everyone so well.
I mean, it was fun, dude. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Like, it was like, because you get to grow up with everyone, you know, from 7th grade all the way to 12th grade. It's like, yeah, when you get to 10th, 11th grade, like, we just mesh really well. So obviously, like, yeah, we were a good class, and most of us were A/B students.
Yeah.
My average was usually a B or B plus. Like, nothing too bad, but like,
we tried, bro.
Yeah, no, we really tried. But anyway,
we actually tried, yeah.
But the point is, like, you know, we did a lot of activities together. We were constantly like seeing each other, and then like for right around senior year, Master Rein and I became high school president and vice president, and like we were like ruling the school. And I know, like, if people have seen our streams, we've talked about it, and they even made memes about it. Which, oh my god, Master Chief!
Shout out Master Chief!
Shout out Master Chief!
Shout out Javier también.
Oh yeah, totally.
Makes good ass memes.
Totally. So it was like we always had this partnership, basically. Like, in either like in classes we would partner up, in soccer we would partner up, as a student council we partner up. So even during our senior fundraisers, our class would be like, "Hey, you two, we need a media night. Get to it. Get to it."
We were fucking bomb at that, dude. No, we would do it because like we had the systems, we had the games.
Yeah, and dude, we did it twice, and it was a success. It was so
every
good.
time.
It was. We got like 2 PlayStations. We got an Xbox. We got 3 GameCubes. We had like a huge.
The Wii was a game changer.
Yeah, the
Wii was a game changer for all that, bro.
A big projector. We did a costume and Super Smash Brothers Melee tournament, and we did these twice. And no joke, it was just Master Rein and I, and no one else.
Yeah.
Like, no one else in our class even bothered. They're like, these two guys have it. They didn't need to. We knew exactly what we needed. It's like, yeah, sure.
They didn't need to.
Yeah. And I'm surprised we did it. And then, of course, in student council, obviously you and I had a whole other team, but I think we were the first student council to establish a themed talent show, because before it was just a talent show. But this time around,
there was maybe one that tried doing a sort of a themed one, and it was really cool. And I remember it.
That's a good point.
I think I wonder if that was it wasn't the one where I pretended to do the Dane Cook one. It was a different one where I think it was the one where I did like the YMCA dance or something like that, right? Something silly like that, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, but it wasn't really themed as much as it was. Each class is just going to wear a color, and they're just supporting each other as much. That was kind of the theme, which was really fun, right? So I remember building off of that and being like, but we're gonna go deeper with this, though. You know, it was cool.
Yeah, and like our so we did that, and we also did the first ever intramural soccer tournament at the school that to this day still goes, which it makes me so happy. I got a picture actually a few months ago of the student council still setting these up, and I'm like, wow.
That's so cool, man.
Like we basically
go back.
Yeah, it's like we set a standard, and I mean, from what I was told,
R&B standard, everybody.
I know, like from what I was told, from like a few classmates that were in like if we were in 12th grade, I was still friends with like some 10th graders and 9th graders, which may sound weird, but again, the school was very small.
we're tight knit, yeah.
Yeah, so like some 9th graders, when I was in college and they became seniors, would tell me that they were basically told that if they don't do an intramural, they're considered a failure. And so I'm like, holy moly.
Oh my God.
Like we set up a standard. So it's been...
Dude.
I mean, we graduated, 14 years ago from high school, and it's still going. So, yeah, dude.
It's still a standard. So the last time that I was there was about 7 years ago now, which is really funny that, like, 7 years ago, 7 years after we graduated, I go back, and that's like around the time that I meet my wife. But I go back, and I basically get like invited to do the talent show because a lot of people know me still there, and like our buddy Sam, he's now the kindergarten teacher, which is legitness, and like a lot of people love him, and so I was like, shoot, let's do it, right? Not only that, Silly Squirrel here has got all new editing skills, so we sent him all the videos out that we were working on. He edited everything for us, and we like timed this thing where my buddy Sam and I recorded this thing where like he hits me up and I'm in the gym working out and I slam some weights down and he's just like, yo Master Rein, I need you, the talent show needs you. And I was like, all right, bro, like suit up. And like it was like this whole Avengers suiting up thing, and I hop in my dad's really disgusting beat up like truck and I drive to the school, right? And it's timed so that when the video ends, Sam and I are popping into the doors, and so it was like perfect timing, and it was so funny because like the mics had blown out like after like it had started because it was just too epic. We blew out that sound system, bro, like right. So they come in and the mics aren't working. I was like, I don't need a effing mic, dog. Yeah. And I just like, everybody, I'm loud. Everybody knows I'm loud. So I just started like speaking loud enough, right? And my wife was just like, wow, that guy is so loud. He doesn't even need a mic. And look at his arms.
Oh my God.
Because I was actually working out at the time.
TMI.
But anyways, yeah, I know. It was fun. So, anyways, they got the speakers working and everything. And Sam and I are the host. We actually did this one skit together or whatever. Blah blah blah. Right. Later on, my sister comes back and tells me that was actually the best talent show since the time that we were doing a talent show.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, like that was the best one since then. And so I was like, no way. She was like, yeah, that intro was just like, oh my God. And I was like, yup.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
So.
But anyway, like after that, we went to the same college for a year, and we played a lot of Call of Duty, which of course was really big during that time back in like 2000. What was it, 10? I think.
Yeah, we could actually play it online.
Yeah, we played it online. We played a lot of the co-op missions, which were so much fun.
I love those,
dude.
Always
oh my
those.
God! Wait, let's bring it back a bit. We forgot the first time we played Gears.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of people know if you've heard our previous podcast, but yeah, Gears. You want to talk a little bit about it real fast?
Just real quick. So we went to our senior trip at this beach, And the beach that we went to is basically kind of like this small town. And very beautiful. It's honestly one of my favorite places in the world. It's called San Juan del Sur, or St. John of the South.
St. John of the South, yeah. I was going to say.
And so we had this afternoon where our chaperones, teachers, were like, okay, guys, you have like 2 to 3 hours to do whatever you want. You want to go to the beach, go to the beach. If you want to go to the town, go to town. Like, if you want to take a nap, you can do whatever you want. Because we kind of had like a bit of a schedule.
Commit a crime. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We had a schedule.
We had a bit of a schedule, but it was more for like, things to do as a class, right? So Master Rein and I just looked at each other and we immediately knew what we were going to do. Because I told him, like, I'm like, hey, dude, there's this place right next to this house. It's a little hole in the wall, but they have Xboxes in there. We should totally go there. And we're like, hell yeah. And we went.
Say no more.
And we spent 4 to 5 hours in there just playing. We were playing Halo 3 for a long time. And then the next day we went again and we played most of Gears 1. Like most of it.
Yes.
Like I think we were really close to beating it.
True. The dude, and I remember the owner being like, you guys are back. And we're like, Gears is calling our name.
Yep. And it got to a point where our other classmates had no idea where we were. And we didn't have cell phone like with us. It wasn't like, you can text me or anything like that. Nah, screw it. So they went looking for us. And I swear to you, the only reason they found us was because they heard us yelling in the room.
Oh my god!
And then
oh my god,
it was Sam and some of the teachers were like, oh, here's where you guys have been. He was like, yeah. He's like, seriously, guys, you're at the beach and you come here and play video games? I'm like, hey, yeah. And we're like, dude, it's like 25 cents to play an hour. I'm playing video games.
We're like, what I remember looking at him like, how are you surprised by this? Of course. Like, do you want me to explain it to you, or do you just want to accept that we're here doing this shit?
and they just left. And they're like, all right, well, you guys be safe.
They're safe and they're not doing drugs, all right?
No. And I mean, I'm very familiar with this town, too. So I told them, like, look, I know our way back. I know my way around here. Actually, out of everyone, I was the only one.
Literally stayed on that street, like in the house on that street.
Yeah. The house next door. I used to stay at that house.
It was like next door. Yeah, it was next door. Yeah.
I used to stay at that house all the time. And so I was very familiar with where I was. And so, so it was just like funny. And then we go back and they're like, everyone's like, oh, we went to the store. Oh, we went to the subway. Oh, we went to the beach.
I'm like, that sounds absolutely boring.
I know.
Right? You want to hear about Gears? The Gear Wars?
It's like, do you want to hear about...
fought about Gears. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm like, yeah, I chainsawed, dude. It was awesome.
Then we chainsawed somebody together. I think one of the girls looked at us like, what are you guys doing in the backgrounds?
In our culture, like, a lot of stock is put into going out. Like going clubbing, going out drinking. And granted, we did a lot of that too. Like I did, and Master Rain did a few times, but anyway, moving forward, we went to college together. We played a lot of games together.
Sadly, I couldn't stay the whole time. I think it would have been amazing if I could, though. Oh my gosh, dude.
And so,
but
here's where it gets a little like dark, and not dark in the sense of like, oh, Master Rain started doing crack. No, like
it wasn't crack. Okay, everybody.
What I mean is,
I became a furry.
There was a period of time where like Master Rain was living in Florida. I was living in Arkansas. I did go see you for Sam's wedding, and I know we keep mentioning Sam, but he's a really good friend of ours. That was the first time I played Skyrim. It was at your place.
Oh yeah,
that was fun.
We played a lot of PlayStation All Stars too.
Yeah, and we played a lot of Tekken.
Yeah, dude, my buddies were like super impressed. They're like, damn.
That was a good fight. Yeah, I had this really good fight with this guy.
Yeah. It was so fucking cool to watch.
But then, like, between then and 2016, which is a good, like, almost 6 years, really. A little less, actually, 4 years. Let's put 4 years. So for 4 years, right after college, like, I didn't really. I only had an Xbox 360. Master Rain, I think, didn't have anything. So we didn't play any video games for a long time because we didn't have compatible systems. Until right around 2016, I bought a PlayStation 4, and Master Rain had gotten a PlayStation 4. I think at that point you were already married to your now wife. Yes, you were. You were.
Yeah, I was, but I had a PlayStation 4 a little sooner than that, though.
Yeah, so
I wasn't online too much though, just because of my internet.
And so the first game we started playing was Battlefield 1, and boy, was that an experience. Battlefield 1.
Oh yeah, no, Battlefield 1.
Battlefield 1
definitely,
is one of my favorite Battlefield games of all time. It was phenomenal. Like, I would love to go back and just play that game again. And it kind of set the tone for how we play games nowadays, especially when you see it on our streams.
Yeah.
We were playing with Sapito
a lot. Sapito.
And then another of our friends called Nomutaka, which we will have on the pod sometime. And yeah, shout out to Nomutaka. And that's when we started developing like that type of relationship when it came to like this type of like online gaming specifically.
Yeah.
We're no longer sitting next to each other. We had to really communicate on using headphones and stuff. And so it was a process, and getting used to it, getting to play together at nights. Like, this is where it really started. This is where R&B was born without even knowing. And so for many years we were just playing a lot of Battlefield, Ghost of Tsushima. We played No Way Out, which is a co-op only game, which I think we should stream sometime, to be honest. And our relationship started growing again, because we had games we could play together. And that's what I find. If there's one thing I will say is like you mentioned it earlier, how like for us, if we have kids and they start playing video games with their friends, we will see it as something normal.
Yeah.
Like, looking back, it's like video games at the end of the day is a hobby, right? Like we do it to forget about our day, to live out a dream, like me being a manager of Manchester United, or Master Rain being a Jedi Master. Like, we play video games because they allow us to experience,
or being a cracked out old person killing zombies. Dreams,
man.
Yeah, dreams, man. Yeah.
being a WWE wrestler, dreams. But the thing is, like the seeing how like streaming has become, I mean, pun intended, I guess. Seeing how streaming has become mainstream, esports have become mainstream. Talking about video games is no longer like the nerdy thing to talk about,
like anime. Anime, how it used to be.
So it's like it's almost like our generation brought this to the table so that the next generation can embrace it. And honestly, like, it's been pretty cool to see how like gaming has allowed us not only to make other friends either by streaming or just playing with them, but it's like it's allowed our friendship to really blossom, because out of really good gaming sessions or shitty sessions, we end up talking about other things. And so
I mean, for me, a really big thing, just for me, I'm not good at talking over the phone, just because like I just can't like sit there and
I agree.
Like,
and same. It was hard.
But if we're like playing a game and we're talking, then it's so much easier, right? To like talk about whatever. Which during that time period, or like not during that time period when necessarily in Battlefield 1, but a little bit earlier, it would have been great to have more online games that we could play, because it was a hard time in my life where I was pretty lonely. I mean, I had a lot of friends close by, but I didn't have my parents at all. I wasn't seeing them. I was very disconnected from them and disconnected from a lot of people I knew in my life. And so it was just like a really hard time. But very thankful that when I was married and still living away from pretty much everybody that I knew, I am very thankful that we had at that time good enough internet to actually play something online that was Battlefield 1. Because the memory from that is still so significant, right? And we remember it so well because it was such a good time for all of us, right? Mm-hmm. And it wouldn't have happened, right? If like that type of game wasn't out at the moment with like the internet access, whatever. Now it's so much easier, right? Which is why you see us online a lot more, playing together a lot more. But I'm very thankful, honestly, that this is available. Because like, do you think we could play sports together? Obviously not. Like we can't go do like, it's not like like we can go like hang out with our entire friend group to go watch a movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Like all of our friends are in different states, so that wouldn't work out. So very thankful for video games in that regard.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like, also like a lot of our friends do live out of state, so it's like it's the one thing that's like, hey, I'm online. Who wants to play? And you're like, okay, I got like an hour, and you just go for it. And like what we do nowadays, it's so much easier to play with people, even like from on another country. Like
exactly.
Like I'm sure like one day we'll have, and I'm hopefully sooner rather than later, we'll have some people that have been on the stream to join us in the game, and that's going to be so cool. And it's just so cool that you can do this now, where before it would have been like. It would have been impossible almost, really.
Yeah. No, exactly. And there's a lot of things that are possible now that just weren't possible in the past. Just Twitch streaming, for example. The fact that y'all are listening to us and we have our own little show, right? And it's not something that we had to go to a radio station or TV to do like a public broadcasting thing to try to get, nothing like that, right? Mm-hmm. It's totally... We can do it, and you guys found us, and it's super cool. And I hope you guys continue loving to listen to us. But it's super interesting that this is possible because I was talking to or telling Silly this earlier. It's really interesting, but I'm sure his parents are also telling him like, "What are you gonna do when you're 30 years old and you're still playing video games?" Well, we're a little older than that now, and we're still doing that, and I think we're enjoying it a lot more than we actually were before now. And so we're having a ton of fun doing it, and I think it's like, what are we gonna do if we're friends are trying to like hang out or do fun activities together when we're living in different states? We would have to plan something out like once a year. We would barely do anything fun ever, so. And it goes to say that for not just our parents, but like our parents, or even just the older generations, if they didn't have something online, they didn't have internet. So if somebody moved across the country, you had just had mail, you just had the phone, and that was it. Unless you were gonna visit them,
And like speaking of like our parents, it's like whenever I tell my dad that we actually made money off of a stream. It just blows his mind.
Oh my god, yes, dude. Yep.
So like it's just so funny. And my dad's like, well, like who knew that video games were gonna be a thing? I'm like, well, you did. He just didn't keep going. 'Cause he was a big gamer. Funny. My dad was a very big gamer. Like he stopped playing right around the Nintendo 64 days. Like after that, it was like.
Yep.
It was like his understanding of what video games could do became more complex. Now think about it. He grew up playing Atari and then Nintendo and then Super Nintendo, where it was still, a pad and a few buttons. And then the moment the Nintendo 64 releases where you have a joystick and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 buttons plus a pad. It's almost like his brain couldn't compute. And granted, he did play like Mario Kart and Madden and stuff, but he got to a point where it was just like, this is just too hard. And I think the last, like, granted, eventually systems like the Wii and the Switch made it easier for him to like bring it back, play games again. But the last big game my dad ever played was Tekken 5. And that was back in the PlayStation 2 days. That was like the last game where he felt comfortable playing a game that was like modern, so to speak. And so like when I tried to teach him how to play something on the Switch, even it's like he's like, I can't. Like I showed him Doom, and it gave him a headache.
Oh, no way. You know what? The frame rate really is different than what it was before on those CRTs. It really is different. All of it. It's just different, which is interesting that like, because we grew up on this, all these changes aren't different for us. So like we're expecting these changes actually. So it's not something that like is going to ever bother somebody who's been gaming, currently, right?
Exactly.
But, personally, I think you and I were born in definitely like the gaming like age, because like I would say we definitely were playing through the first golden age of gaming, which was like, I want to say like around like that, maybe like 2009ish type of time period or whatever.
Yeah.
Mass Effect type of games were out. You know what I'm saying? Like Halo 3 was already out. You know what I'm saying? Gears, like maybe even Gears 3 was coming out around that time or something like that. But it was just some phenomenal games out. Just some phenomenal things going on. And we were like looking at those graphics, being like, oh my god, damn! Like, look at these graphics, yo. But if we were to look at those graphics today, yeah, they would still look good. There's certain things that are impressive, because the amount of detail or not detail, but work that developers put in. Yeah. But a lot of just like a single person can now replicate a lot of things that games used to need like an entire development team for, because the technology has changed so much. It's so much easier for people to make games now. Games like The Forest. I don't know how big The Forest was, like the development team, but I don't think it was that big. You know what I'm saying?
The Forest.
You know what I'm saying?
Forest.
And The Forest was legit, bro. And it's running off of these video game engines like Unreal or whatever. And then The Forest 2, which is coming out soon, hopefully. It's gonna be so like intricate, like with the design of the construction or whatever, that like games back in the day could only dream of doing something like that, right? Sure. So what's going to happen, from here on out, and we're so lucky to have seen basically, bro, the Atari, essentially, right, with Sega. Sega was like the first real gaming system, sort of, right? Like the Nintendo to the Sega, right?
Yeah.
But we got to play those. We got to see those like as like tiny kids, right? We have grown up with the technology, just getting better and better and better and better, from going from like 360p or whatever, and finally hitting 720i, and you're like, holy crap, 720, yo, and then 1080i. 1080p, what can go beyond HD? The human eye can't even comprehend beyond HD.
I know.
And then bam 4 motherfucking K, bitch. Yeah, and it's just like, wait, what the fuck? 8K, wait, what the fuck? 64K, motherfucker. Like,
and you know what? You know what? I still suck at Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike is now what, like 500 frames per second because of it's like 20,000 frames per second because of whatever computer can run it on whatever, like 3090 Ti or whatever the hell, bro. It's insane where the technology's at, where it's the obvious next step. It's like, what's gonna happen next? VR type of stuff, right? That kind of stuff. Or we might play more high level games where like the graphics look like straight up real life. Dude, like that time, and that's one thing that I like to talk about, is like the real life graphics is just like right around the corner, bro. Because like The Last of Us is absolutely beautiful, crisp looking motherfucking game, like beautiful, and like that right, like scale that up just a few times more, like in terms of like like what's going on the screen, and you basically are almost modeling real life. Apart from modeling the actual particles themselves, you're almost modeling real life, right? Which when computers can actually model the particles, the gluons themselves, they're basically have created an entire new reality, which is an entire philosophical question. Can you imagine playing Minecraft that looks like actual real life on any system, right? Just turn it on and it's just like bloop, and it's just like beautiful.
I really don't.
Our kids are gonna be doing that, dude. Oh my god, dude, it's gonna be insane.
It's gonna be wild, man. It's gonna be wild. But anyways, so we finally get to the point where Revive Me Bro happens, and this was when Master Raid and I were playing a lot of PC gaming, because he just got a PC during this time. And I got the idea for the podcast out of another podcast that I was listening to, where it was two best friends that...
It was a Joe Rogan podcast.
No, it wasn't Joe Rogan podcast. Shut up. So it was like these two best friends. They were doing a podcast about this like sports team together. And they basically, that's the base of why they do the podcast. It's like, we're two dudes who've known each other for many years, and we love this team, and they decided to do a podcast together, just to talk about the team every week. And that just kind of before that, I was listening to more like, I was listening to these podcasts that were a little more well produced. So it's like you had like one of them was like 2 game developers talking about games. You had this one guy who was a game reviewer talking about games. So it never dawned on me that anyone can really just make a podcast. And when I heard about these 2 guys who don't have a lick of experience regarding the sport that they talk about, they really don't, but they just love watching it and they love talking about it. And that's cool, man. Because of that, they just decided to, okay, we'll do some more research and do a podcast every week about it. And I was like, dude, I can do this, you know? And so eventually, you know, I threw the idea to Master Rein, and Master Rein was totally on board, as I knew you were going to be. And I came up with the name like almost right away. It was just like, I already know exactly what we were going to be called. And he's like, what? Revive Me, bro. And he just laughs. And because that what's the one thing you say when you play co-op games? Revive me, bro. Yeah. And that's it. Like, and the rest is history. It's like we started as a podcast, and then we decided to do streaming, and here we are. You know, it's been almost 2 years since we started, and what a ride it's been. You know, and there's no one else I'd rather do this podcast with. Like, there will be days I'll probably do the podcast with Sapito or with Johnny Boy, or you might do it with someone else. But like, I think that the fact that we've branded our friendship is just so weird to me. But like, in a good way, you know, but in a good way. You know? Like, it's so weird to think. I know, right? Like, imagine us telling the 13, 14-year-old us, like, hey, by the way,
exactly.
You guys are gonna have all the consoles. You're gonna build your own computers. You're gonna have a podcast. What's a podcast? Don't worry.
What's a podcast?
And
oh my god!
People are gonna watch you play video games. No, and guess what?
No.
You'll make a little money doing it. No. Like again, we don't do it for the money. Money just helps.
It'll be enough that your wives will let you stay up late at night. And we'll be like, we have wives.
We have wives. Yeah, that's a good point. And then you go, and kids. What? You know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you fucking the future, boys. Yeah.
I know.
You guys get laid.
I know. Honestly, dude. Just thank you so much again for just being on this ride with me. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next few years are gonna look like. I do know eventually. I have accepted that one day this will have to end, but like, I'm gonna keep doing it because we like doing it. It's a lot of fun, and
that's the best reason why.
Yeah, like, no joke. When I started streaming FIFA, and even though I was streaming to myself, like, it was so worth it just to, like,
dude, hell yeah,
like, put a performance, try to entertain people. And like, even if the few people that were watching, like, what was it? Like, at one point I had like 4 people watching, and they were entertained watching the game, and that's it. That's all I want, you know. Because it reminds me of the days where I would watch you play a video game, and that's all we needed, you know.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's all we needed. It's like just an afternoon, you playing a single player game, and we just try to like figure shit together, and that meant the world to us back then. And the fact that we can share this via Twitch with other people and just kind of relive our childhood a little bit, even though, granted, we're playing much different games. It's
much more mature games, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So I'm very grateful.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I know. I don't want to get all like waterworks and anything, but you know what I mean. Like, it's cool that we do this, man.
Yeah. No, it means a lot that you say that, because, I think that's pretty much if there's ever a reason why it would be worth it, it's I'm playing games with my best friends, and this is a ton of fun, and it's been great. So I hope everybody listening, I hope y'all get to listen to us for a long time, because we're definitely having fun doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, I know, like, I wish we could release these pods more often. Like, I wish we could do like a weekly podcast, or we try to do it a monthly podcast, right? But it's like, man, it is proven very difficult. So, and it's mostly because, like, Master Rain has a family.
Bro.
I have a family.
No, dude.
My
I got
job,
invited to the Illuminati, and it's hard.
yeah, and then my job is like very demanding too. Like, I get home late sometimes, so hence why sometimes you guys don't see me on the streams on Fridays or Sundays. It's because it's like I'm knee.
He's in the inner circle.
Yeah,
he's in the deep inner circle of exactly. Yeah, no, he's yep.
Yeah, but anyway, guys, Master Rain, any last comments?
Well, just thank you guys so much for always listening to us, everybody. We love you all. Just thank you guys so much for supporting us and the fun that we're having, right? Because I hope that y'all have fun from watching us have fun. That's honestly a big hope of mine, because yeah, I think it'll all be worth it if that's the case.
Yeah, no, same. That's all we can ask for, really. So, all right. So, what's next? So, we are planning. Hopefully, we can be able to do this. We are planning on doing a Nintendo Direct pod. There's a Nintendo Direct right around the corner, and we really want to follow up on that because I know we did it last time, and it was a lot of fun. You know me, I am the eternal Nintendo hater. I have my reasons though. So in order to balance it out, we're going to have a special guest for that pod. And I hope he has the time to join us, but we'll try to get a special guest for that pod. And then after that, we're thinking about doing a new review because we haven't done those.
Yeah, that dude is like a celebrity now, man. I don't know if he's gonna even remembers us now, dude.
I know, right?
Dude, I know.
It's like, answer my
He's
emails.
Like, talk to my publicist.
Anyway, that's it for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember to follow us on our social medias. I think we have all those links. Check on the description below. Also, remember to leave us a comment and 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you do that, send us a screenshot via Instagram or whatever, and we will send you some free stickers. We're looking forward to our next episode, especially our next stream. And this is Silly and Master Rain signing out. Peace.
Peace out, everybody.
Remember, never stop reviving, yo.